Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a dynamic effort bench press day. But a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, it'd be greatly appreciated. So I'm doing all my speed work paused right now for my benching. I do notice there's a little bit of slack in that red band, and that's okay. It's not in the blue band. That was tight, and I set them up the same way. I'm not gonna get too worried about it. Although I may want to go to a little heavier bands. I may want to throw those 100-pound black bands back on eventually. But we kept it simple, 135 plus 80 pounds of band tension, compensatory acceleration. Did 3 sets wide. Now keep in mind, what I call wide grip is really normal bench. I just mean pinkies on the rings. That's not actually that wide. For me, that tends to give perfect wrist stacking. And it, of course, puts the deepest stretch on the pecs. Probably the ideal hypertrophy grip for me. Then I do 3 sets of medium grip and then 3 sets of closed grip. Now, I still feel like I get the most acceleration on the closed grip, which tells me, even though I haven't been training the closed grip, I have a feeling my closed grip might still be my strongest grip. I'm not going to worry about it so much for this meet. I'm going to come in and just do the pinkies on the rings, I think, because that's what I've been training lately. But after the meet, we're going to rotate through a lot more stuff. I do think I want to get back into doing a little more incline benching like I did today. I really wish there were better setups for decline benches, because I'd actually like to do a little more decline, at least for max effort. I don't think it would be a bad idea, because I have some of my lifters do that. Some of my guys, they max on incline and decline both, like Mike, which you guys saw on social media the other day. Because I think mainly for me, because I am a raw lifter, I'm not going to use a lot of bands and chains for max effort work. People have noticed that. I tend to like them for some accessories. I like them for speed work. And notice when we go to that closed grip, I guess because I get a little deeper, for some reason, there was a little more slack there. Band tension could have used a little bit better fine tuning. All right, incline, the first set felt a little rough. The stretch was a little difficult to get at the bottom. The last 2 sets I went ahead and managed to just pause all the reps better, get a little tighter, explode off the chest. But keep in mind, first set tends to be my warm-up set. That comes up too. I don't actually warm up for any sort of 10-rep things. And by the way, my warm-up video yesterday got a lot of negatives. Even I had banned a few people on my Facebook who came in and they're telling me, you're irresponsible, you're going to hurt people. I'm sorry, guys, you don't have evidence that these warm-ups that you do prevent injury. I'm sorry, you just don't. Look, if you want to do warm-ups, that's your business. I'm just not going to support it. And I'm not telling you it's wrong for you to do it, but don't associate it with better gains or lower injury prevention. Maybe some of you get a placebo from it. That's okay. But I'm not going to make videos endorsing it. Okay, it's that simple. I'm not interested in endorsing a bunch of crazy warm-ups. I just don't think it's necessary. I don't think there are benefits. Do what you want to do. Okay, it's your business. I don't do them. I put up pretty big numbers with a very low injury rate in my 40s. I'm 45, about to be 46. Make of that whatever you will. Okay? Just don't think it's necessary. You're free to do whatever you want. All right, after the 3 sets of incline bench, we did 3 sets of JM presses. And I'm trying to keep these super strict when I've been doing them, instead of letting the elbows drop down like I do, to use more weight. Because quite frankly, I do plenty of pressing, right? We do plenty of pressing on other volume. I don't need them to be a big press. So I'm trying to keep them a little more strict, which means right now 95 pounds. I may slowly work these back up, but I think it's time to do more tricep work. And I think particularly, given that I'm doing the wider grip benching and we know that's going to be weakest off the chest and we slowest off the chest on it, even preparing my triceps to fire harder out of the bottom, which means lengthening position movements like this, probably the way to go. Still going to keep doing the band work. I'm going to cut the volume down on it a little bit because I'm going to cut down the volume on the overall delt work, especially if I'm doing incline. And I'm trying to look more and more at trimming out junk volume, and ask myself, with my lifting, how much volume do I actually need to keep growing and making progress? That's really all that matters, because all this volume is just to get us thicker and bigger, which we know is the key to strength. Again, sorry guys, the evidence is against you. All these people who are like, well, we need this technique and we need that, and we've got to do this, and high specificity. In the lab, it's not what it shows. It just doesn't. Even when elite powerlifters are looked at, even the more technically proficient ones still bench and squat less than the guys who have more muscle, period. If they're bigger than you in terms of the muscle for the primary movers, they're probably going to outlift you. Deal with it. That's what the studies being done on elite powerlifters shows. Lean body mass is king. Okay? The more muscle you have, the stronger you're going to be, even if your technique isn't as good, right? And again, that's relative to your height and stuff. You get shorter guys who are like, well, I'm doing this. It's like, yeah, but you're 5'6". You're 5'6", and you're outweighing me slightly while you're doing that. And you have short arms. Of course, you're going to bench more. And you got more muscle, moving the weight a shorter distance. But if I had more muscle, I'd be better. So that's kind of the point. Upper body musculature. But that means, I think at this point, of kind of trimming the junk volume down, avoid overtraining. So we don't need deload weeks, because I don't want to deload anymore. I can take weeks off after meets sometimes, or half a week off before meets. Just the way it's got to be. But barring that, since I'm not going to be doing the traveling I had been doing, I'm not going to deload. I don't want deloads. I want to be growing year round. So all my extra training is going to be geared towards GPP conditioning, right, which has its own hypertrophic effect. But I don't need to be using just junk volume anymore. So it's kind of what I said. I'm like, all right, we'll do our pull-ups, do our hammer curls, because I need them for the grip in the arm. And I may cut pull-ups on lower days and just say, you know what, my extra grip, it can be handled by the fat bar deadlifts. That'll catch my grip up real quick. I can live on those things. All my speed pulls, all that stuff will give me the extra lat and back development I need. I can get away with 6 sets of pull-ups a week if I have to. My lats are big. I'll probably grow from that. As long as I can get the performance up, get the rep count back up. Rotate through them though. And I think what I'm going to do even for shoulders, I may rotate back and forth between a couple different shoulder exercises. My rear delt flies, my lateral raises, slightly different angles, still work more or less the same muscles. Although I think we can make the case for the rear delt fly really being a superior delt developer if you're doing plenty of front delt work. And I'm doing some incline benching. And that's the other thing too. Incline bench has such amazing carryover to the raw bench, right? Really does. Particularly when you're weak off the chest. So it would behoove me to get my, incline bench up again further. If I want to get to that 405 bench, it'd be a good idea. We need more arms, more triceps, but even the hammer curls, doing the non-supine grip pull-ups, again, builds that whole area of the arm that we need for squish out of the bottom. Okay? That's the name of the game. And then I can continue to do the band press downs with just enough volume to get what I need out of them, to keep my tendons healthy, right? We'll get some extra benefit, a little lockout strength, more metabolic fatigue, but we'll keep those tendons healthy so that I can push those JM presses up, because those will really carry over also. But the band press downs have been pivotal. It's just that my volume on them has been so high that I can start to look at it and say, is this eventually, even for a restorative movement, could it eventually be a problem of overuse? At some point, it might become that. So let's just stave it off now. And we're going to work on getting in shape after the meet. I only have a few training sessions left. So that's the other thing too, keeping the volume reasonable, to hold on to my lean body mass, hold on to strength, and continue to cut down. So we got to make weight. And like I said, this can be the last time I do the 198. These water cuts really take a lot out of me. It's going to limit the amount of times I can compete. And I would much rather be able to compete 4 or 5 times a year and do lots of meets and do well than have to do these big water cuts to make the 198. Because I'm just too tall, too big for it. And I need to get bigger if I want to get stronger. Right? My height, I really need to be 220, 242. So I'm going to stick with the lighter end at 220 and just get leaner. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.